Cancel culture is a failure to self-regulate. And we've established that getting canceled isn't a legal consequence. It's a cultural one. And that's the problem. So because instead of engaging with the idea, what we do is we condemn the individual. We target the person that's presenting that idea, and we try to quiet their voice and shut them down. It's not about rebuttal. It's not about persuasion. It's about silencing. And that's a cultural dilemma that we have named cancel culture. And I think this is an important thing to establish, because cancel culture, it's not about ending a talk show. It's not about putting people in jail for escalating a murder of somebody or dancing in celebration for somebody's execution. That's not cancel culture. Cancel culture is a system whereby vigilantism organizes in order to shut down a voice that they disagree with, because the word choices they use are wrong, because they believe that person is racist, or they believe that person's message to be homophobic, or they believe that person's message to be misogynistic. Well, let me give you an example. The other day I was scrolling through posts. There was a video, and it was obviously staged, where a King's Guard in Britain somewhere standing outside, and the video was showing the King's Guard being harassed by a black guy. And the King's Guard put down his rifle and popped the black guy and knocked him out. It was staged. And I was scrolling through the comments, because it's always the comments that are funnier than the actual video. But one guy in the comments said, "Why is it always them?" And I thought, oh my God, that's pretty stupid. So, I replied to his comment saying that you're giving conservatives a really bad name. I've got a lot of friends, like I said, very conservative and, not racist. So, but the interesting part to this, it wasn't even about the video or the post. It was about another person that chimed in after, who said, "This person works at Aspen Ski, blah, 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 and I have left him a 1-star review calling him a racist. And if you want to leave a 1-star review for this guy, here's the link to his job site." And sure enough, I went to the job site, and there was the review that this guy gave. Said, "This ski area hires racists, and this guy's a racist." 1-star review. I investigated the person who left this review and went to his reviews page to see if he'd left other reviews. And sure enough, a list of the same types of reviews for multiple companies. This company hires racists. This guy's a racist. This guy's a misogynist. This guy's homophobic, and 1-star review, 1-star review, 1-star review, with companies he'd never, ever done business with, and targeting people he doesn't even know. And so I replied back to this guy. I said, "What you're doing is actually worse, in my opinion. Destroy people's lives based on a few words on an internet post. You don't even know who this person is, and you don't even know the intent behind the post. No matter how stupid his posts were, no matter how bad the sentiment was, we don't go around lying about reviews and permanently creating a record for this person to have to live with for the rest of their lives." I mean, literally, that you put a 1-star Google review up there, and it's going to be there forever. And I've seen some pretty bad Google reviews that had nothing to do with the product or the business that they're talking about. And I think it's just an abuse of communication in this respect. And that is a summarization of what cancel culture is. With cancel culture, there's no presumption of innocence, and an accusation is conviction. And that conviction follows them forever on the internet with those reviews, with that feedback. Now let's compare that to a company firing an employee for celebrating Charlie Kirk's assassination. This has nothing to do with mob rule. It has nothing to do with vigilantism. Firing somebody for performing in a immoral and cruel and insensitive, evil way and firing that person or removing that person from their talk show is a defense of basic societal rule where we can all pretty much agree and we can all pretty much stand behind the core concept that killing and violence is wrong. Business not only has a self-sustaining interest to fire somebody, they have a duty to protect other employees in their company, to forward the message that no, violence is not the answer. Trying to compare cancel culture between mob rule and vigilanteism to removing some or for firing somebody because they're sharing YouTube videos desecrating statues or people's sentiment, putting flowers or pictures of the person that had died that they cared for. This is not canceling a person. This is holding to account your responsibility as a citizen of a country that believes that death, violence, murder is wrong. And we need to be really careful here. Charlie Kirk's assassin saw himself as a vigilante. This was the ultimate cancellation of a voice. And it was the ultimate price and the ultimate penalty that cancel culture is now providing a permission structure to take people out that they disagree with.